tuning in. This is Dennis Schleicher and Cathy Gibson with Keeping It Real. It's been so long since we've done this.
Yes, we're back.
We're back. Holler. Hello. So we're here to talk about a subject that Cathy did not want to talk about. And I thought
It
this
always puts
was
me on the spot.
perfect. This was perfect. And let us know your thoughts. So we're going to dive right in. Cathy, you had a once in a lifetime opportunity to become a TV news reporter, work for a station in the early 80s, an opportunity that most people would dream of, but you didn't show up for the interview.
Well, first of all, in my defense, I was like 22, 23 and not knowing what to do in life, but I did know I wanted to be, in front of the camera kind of thing. But yeah, and that's what we were talking about earlier. It's when you have an opportunity like that and then you don't take it. I got chicken and I didn't show up, and
Yeah.
it was not good. And I still to this day, at this age, I have regrets in not going to that.
But we're going to talk about solutions to overcome those regrets and how it made you who you are today. So
Yes.
I think a lot of people can relate to this. Take us back to that day. What was going through your mind leading up to the interview?
I just think I was just very, very nervous, and I didn't think I could do it. And I think today, now I've always tell my kids or people that you always get a window of opportunity in life and you got to fly through it. And even if you're rejected or it doesn't work out, it's okay. At least you did it, you
Yeah.
tried it. And I still, like I said, to this day, I feel bad that I didn't do it because this wonderful friend of mine gave me the opportunity
Yeah.
to go in there and do the reading prompter and all that. And I was just too nervous.
Well,
I didn't think I could do it.
You and I have something that's similar. I'm dyslexic, but you have a fear of reading from a prompter, more or less. And I'm so so I understand what that's like because I stumble.
Well, it was because I didn't know what was going to be up there.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't something that I could read or whatever. And sometimes, when you're young and you're put on a spot, you just get nervous.
Yeah.
And I did. I chickened out. And like I said, to this day, I have regrets. But I think each opportunity that you do get in life, it makes you who you are in the end. And gosh, every opportunity that I've really had in life, brought me to where I am today. I mean, when I
Exactly.
first started reading to children in schools,
Yeah.
I only read to little classrooms that I would sweat.
Yeah.
And then now I read to auditoriums. So
and
it's
we're-
like, it's crazy.
We're at the Farmington Library in Farmington,
Yes.
Connecticut, and they are gracious enough to host us. And Cathy, being a children's book, you have what, 9 or 8?
No, 7.
Seven.
There are 7
Keep
children's
adding
books
to
and then
it.
a Sophie doll.
Yeah, and a Sophie doll, so which does the I love you.
I love you hand sign.
And they asked her to come here to do a book reading for the children, and that's great. These opportunities open up.
It is. Well, this library, I have to say, is the first library that I had my first event. I had my first book reading here, and they hosted such a beautiful event, and we had a cake. All the babies showed up in tutus, even myself. So there was like 100 babies, and we all were wearing tutus.
That's
It
so
was so
cute.
fun.
So let's go back to what did that fear feel like in that moment? Can you describe that?
Which moment? The
the
very
moment
first?
of the when you were interviewing for CBS,
Okay.
the local station.
Well, again, it just had to do with your own personal insecurities of not doing well.
Yeah.
And I think, and always being prepared. And for myself, just to wing it,
Yeah.
not knowing what was going to be put on that prompter,
Exactly.
made me nervous. But again, back to when I first started reading to schools, it started in little classrooms and then it built to be larger. But those first classrooms, I was sweating like bullets too. And they're only little babies.
Yeah.
But it was one of those things back then. I wasn't able to speak in front of people.
Now you could read
And
to
now I could read to
auditoriums,
anyone,
yeah.
I could talk to anybody, but it's just,
So, what was your turning point? Looking back, do you think it was a fear of failure or a fear of success?
failure, definitely. Not success at all. I mean, everybody wants to succeed, but I just think sometimes you doubt yourself of what you can and can't do. And back then, I was a different person.
Yeah.
I'm more outgoing now, where back then I was much more quieter. So,
Now, what's the biggest lesson from that moment that you think it taught you?
Um, for me, like I just said to you before, I always express that everybody in life, and I think that's why I use that saying all the time, because I did miss this opportunity years ago, that I do believe life is filled with a window of opportunity, and
Yeah.
it's a very small window.
Yeah.
And it doesn't, sometimes it comes back to you where you have that opportunity to try for it again, but in life through the years, you only have a window to jump through, whether it's for a career, whether it's a relationship, or whatever it is. You have to take that and just fly through it.
Yeah.
And if you're rejected, you're rejected. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay if somebody says no.
Now we want to bring this back to you, those our friends who are watching or our family members, we like to say. This is about facing your fear and moving forward. So, Cathy, you've had a successful career despite that moment. How did you bounce back?
Well, I just think the more you do, the more confident you get. And the more public speakings that I
Yeah.
did, the better and more confident that I felt. And, I do wing it a lot
Yeah.
because I always check out the audience,
Yeah.
what age, whether they're children or
You
adults.
go with the spirit.
I go with the spirit of the atmosphere. But every once in a while, I still get a little nervous reading
Yeah.
a prompter, unless I know what is going to become, what's
Yeah.
coming up, because I want to be able to
Well,
speak,
I think nerves
enunciate.
fuel my desire to share, if that makes sense. So I turn that fear into sharing and I channel it differently. And I think once you hit record and go live, sometimes I'm really shaking and really nervous to hit go live on my iPhone. Other times it just,
Comes out.
yep.
So, do you have any things from your past
Yeah.
of overcoming fears?
Yeah, it's my biggest thing was people were gonna mock me, make fun of me, or not understand. But now those who know me know my Dennisisms, if you may, my little isms where I say things and I mean one thing and it comes out as another. I mean, you've witnessed that. You
Yeah,
never
but
know.
I mean, everybody has that,
Yeah.
and it's okay,
And I think it makes me
yeah,
who I am.
absolutely.
And people like the authenticity that I just roll with it. If I
Exactly.
trip and fall, I go, whoops, I just fell. And I get back up and
I know that I have to tell this one quick thing. I was doing one of those. I'm not a selfie girl. Like I don't know how to even put it the correct way or what have you. But one time I think we weren't together, and I had to do a thing for an ice cream place in Mystic,
I
Connecticut.
love this story.
Do you remember?
Yes.
And I had to do it on my own. So I had the selfie thing going on, and I had my ice cream in the other hand, and I'm advertising this ice cream wonderful place in Mystic, Connecticut. And I fell.
Yeah.
And then I got back up and I'm like, hey, he is, and then
And
continue.
that's-
And the show continues. And I got more hits off of that just
Yeah.
because I fell.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's not the end of the world. Everybody
No.
trips.
Yep.
Everybody, it's
Yeah.
everybody messes up here and
It
there.
happens.
It happens.
It happens.
It happens.
We all have two front,
I always say I have left feet because
feet,
both
yeah.
I've been a dancer my whole life, but I have to say I've been the clumsiest person my whole life too. I am just not graceful.
I love that sign in the kitchen that says something about dancing in the kitchen.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
a friend gave that
Yeah,
to me.
it's like everybody should dance in their kitchen.
Oh, definitely, and I'm definitely that person.
And when you and your husband did that show with the music and stuff, and I was like, this is hilarious.
Yeah.
They were making me breakfast. And they put on entertainment for free.
We
So-
like to dance.
Yes, they're a great couple. Give Jimmy a hug for
I
me.
will.
He's a good
I
guy.
will. Thank you.
And Miss Sophie,
And my dog Sophie.
I
my
love
love.
her. I call her Miss Sophie.
Yeah, she's a couch potato right now. Though she needs to
She
get some
always
exercise.
has been a couch potato. Now, if you could go back to that time and tell yourself one thing that day that what would that be?
Go back.
To that time of the interview.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I don't always like rehash certain things that I have regrets about, like with that. I mean, I'm bummed that I didn't do the interview. I'm bummed that I disappointed my friend for getting me that interview to do the prompter. But I think the only regret is not doing it and moving forward. But in saying that to you, it has taught me to tell others and myself that if an interview comes up for you or an opportunity of some sort, just go for it. It's
Go for it.
okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
And the worst that could happen is, so my first time I was interviewing for Aveda Hair Care, this was in Massachusetts for an outside sales job. I messed up the interview so bad. I could tell the guy was sitting there like, okay, when is
Next.
this over? Like he was, signaling his assistant, get him out
Yeah.
of here. And I just was like, but. And I knew I was going to get that. I'm sorry, we chose
Yeah.
someone else for the position. But later, I ended up working for Aveda Corporate out of Minneapolis.
Wow.
And I was working directly for the founder, Horst Reckenbacher, and this
Oh, wow.
is before Estee Lauder bought them. So
I
the
think everybody has obstacles in life, and that's the only way that you can grow, really. I mean, if it was all like straight across,
Yeah.
we're not going to learn any life lessons.
Absolutely. So the last question I have is, again, bringing it back to our friends who are watching. What advice do you have for people who let fear stop them from chasing an opportunity?
Well, just go through it. Just do it. Just, I I have to say, I really dislike flying,
Yeah.
but I do it all the time, and
You're doing it this afternoon?
after I'm done
Yeah.
with the interview, I'm hopping on a plane, and it's always been a fear of mine, and it still is, but I still do it. But years ago, when we were young, that's how long we've been friends. He put me on one of those, what are they?
Ferris wheels.
And I was like, good God, well, then we're going to get stuck on top and all that. But you know what? Again, it's just facing your fears, just moving through it. And it's going to be okay. No matter what it is in life, whether it's
So, yeah.
personal or whatever, just push through
Let
it.
me set the stage for that. If you haven't seen it, I will link it when I get home. I'll link it so you can check it out
See us
over
when we
here.
were kids.
When we were kids.
Well, like teen or early 20s.
It was probably, I was in my 30s.
Were we that old?
Yeah, and we were on a Ferris wheel.
We look young.
I know, we do. We do. And,
We looked really young.
I was a TV lifestyle reporter, and I said, part-time, and I said, let's go live on my Facebook. I was covering an event in New England, the largest fair called the Big E
Oh, yeah.
on
We
the
always
East
did that.
Coast. And she's like, I can't do this. And I dragged her. And she just was like, oh my gosh. And we were on there. And then we got kicked off. Because I showed my press badge, and the guy says, oh yeah, we'll let you go until you go like that. And then the owner came over and said, you've got enough, get off. And I had to cut that part out because we didn't want to
It's
make
okay.
anybody look bad.
It's okay.
So I think, so going forward, we're going to be bringing back our Keeping It Real. This is a part of a series we started several years ago. And we said we were going to give it a year to see if it worked. And I love how life does a 360. We stopped it about a year ago. And then we said, we got to do this again. We got to do
Yeah,
this.
we have a good chemistry.
Phenomenal.
And it just flows when we are on camera. And it's fun. We have a great
Yeah.
time together. But we have like that bantering kind of personalities. You know, I'll say the way it is, and then I'll say something to him about stay focused. And then
Stay
he'll say
focused,
things to me.
And things just laugh. We just laugh. And if
It
you
works.
haven't seen our past episodes,
You got to check it out.
our favorite one is probably potting, buying pots on a budget.
Yeah, for flowers. And yeah, that was a fun one. I think that was in Avon, Connecticut.
Yeah, that was in Avon. And then we did a gazebo once during a snowstorm.
That was fun.
And that was a lot of fun. That's when we talked about she bought her dog to go walking. And yeah, so all
A
right.
lot of good times.
She's got to reel me in because I'm going on banters.
I always have to pull them in.
Everybody,
Oh.
I'm going to say, Cathy, have an awesome flight.
Thank you.
I'm so honored you're back.
Yeah, but
Yes.
we're back, guys.
Yes.
So we're going to be doing this. I don't know
Yes.
how often it's going to really be
Yeah.
out there because we're kind of living further apart from each other, but we'll make it work.
Yes, and she's building a new house, so I'll be down helping her decorate.
Re-put everything back together.
Re-put everything, because that's what I do. The
And
magic.
you're very good at it.
Yes.
And actually, you got to check out the segment that he does with napkins. That was phenomenal, right?
Yes,
Wasn't
yes,
that fun?
yes, folding napkins.
That was really cool.
a lot of fun. You have to be creative. I can't cook, but I can do displays.
But he's very good at, yeah. And even with decorating the house, he's very meticulous about everything, and I love that. I mean, everything is perfection.
If it's setting here and it gets moved to here, I
He
move it
knows.
back.
He knows
I
if it
move
gets
it.
moved.
I know how to move everything so it stays perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And the special fold.
And the special fold, but he's very good at, like I said, decorating a table. Matter of fact, I would love for us to do a segment on decorating a table and actually etiquette, because
Yeah.
you actually you went to school for that. So just knowing how to place your
Not by
silverware.
choice. I had an aunt that took me to finishing school.
Well, everybody I think needs that in life.
And I just, so anyway, I'm rambling. Her husband's going to say, get him on track, because he's in the business. And we're just going to leave it at that. So let's let Cathy get to her flight, and we're going to spend some time together. And you go spend a time with a friend. Go reach out to a friend you haven't spoken to in a while. Send them a text and say, hey, when can we talk over the phone for a little bit? It's been a while.
And Debbie Kilday, I love you. Give me a call. I haven't talked to her in a while, my author friend.
Yes, I love you, Debbie. We'll talk soon. Bye for now.
Bye.
Oh, it's still live. This always happens. This is what it happens. Okay, and
nope, it's still on.
Come on. Are you kidding me? Okay, still recording.